How race, residence, and income affect your obesity risk in NYC. Race, residence, and income all play a big role in how we navigate our daily lives. These things affect what resources we can access. Therefore, it is worth educating ourselves about and raising awareness. The easiest factor that can be seen in action is income. More specifically, the more money you have, the easier it will be to buy food, housing, and access to transportation. It makes life easier. However, if you don't have an abundance of income or funds, your access to these resources are objectively limited. Finding housing, healthy food, and transportation to healthy food will indefinitely become an almost impossible task, especially with other responsibilities you may have. Where a person takes residence also affects what resources a person can access. Let's say you are part of the large majority of New York City. The chances are that you aren't exactly running into a lot of money, or at least enough money to afford a nice home in a good neighborhood. Residential areas directly affect what a person can do, because people will have to get the things they need locally. So if you don't live in a wealthy area with good food and job markets, you will likely not be able to lead a healthy or even safe life. Lastly, and regrettably, race also dictates the resources you may be able to access. It's no secret that racial issues have been a big part of American history and still has lasting effects to this current day. One example of this is redlining, a discriminatory practice which prevented people of color from financial services purely or mostly because of their race. Because of this, you will find large neighborhoods with people of color that lack lots of financial stability and resources, creating a harsh and difficult environment. One issue that race, residence, and income has caused for Black Americans and other people of color in New York City is a heightened obesity and health risk. According to an article by the National Library of Medicine, it was found that obesity was largely associated with race, ethnicity, and income. It was also found that the obesity rate was higher in central Brooklyn and the southern Bronx, in neighborhoods with lots of people of color. What has been done? There have been some efforts to mend the harsh life of these neighborhoods. Some of these efforts are programs to help the less fortunate that provide some resources that people may be insecure in, like food or clothing. There are also support teams available to the public in some areas. What really needs to be done? When looking at how food insecurity affects neighborhoods with not a lot of income and full of people of color, bigger things need to be done to undo what history has done. We can start by trying to fund these neighborhoods. More money and funding means better local resources like better schools and better food markets that sell adequate food. Food surveillance that makes sure the food people buy is also a good option. What can you do? As individuals, there are some things that we can do. We can educate ourselves about our neighborhoods and where the money goes in our towns. We can also participate in politics, as doing so will enlighten us on who's in charge so we know who to pay attention to or even ask for real change. We can also use our right to vote and advocate for the right causes to inspire real change. It is also important to keep up with our news organizations to make ourselves more aware. We can also volunteer at the aforementioned programs to help out. Thanks for watching.